Welcome back to another edition of Fridays in the Field, brought to you by FNBO Bank, the great big small bank. This week I'm heading to North Platte. Well, I'm heading to North Platte virtually anyway, to the UNL Research Extension Center there, where the TAPS, or the Testing Ag Performance Solution Systems, is just getting underway for the 2020 growing season. This is an opportunity. I had the opportunity a year ago to become involved with the TAPS program, speaking at their banquet. And once I learned more about what it was and how it brings farmers and research together, I thought this was the perfect field, or rather fields, to follow for the growing season. Now, how TAPS works is farmers will sign up for one small research plot, which they'll manage, given a great buffet of technology provided by UNL and many of their sponsors as well. Then UNL will manage plots. They'll take the yield data and make that virtual over a large farm to help create a marketing scenario for that. At the end of the year, they'll compile all the data and see who has the most efficient farm, the most profitable farm, and a few other sectors. So as we're talking here with Chuck Burr, UNL Extension Specialist. Chuck, how are you, sir?
Doing great today.
Great, and thanks for joining us here today. We're going to be talking with UNL Extension staff throughout the growing season on the TAPS program. But Chuck, I think the place to start is just tell us, how is TAPS getting started here for the 2020 growing year?
Yeah, we've got our corn planted in our two corn competitions, the sprinkler and the subsurface drip competitions. We're planning to plant the sorghum the last week of May, so that's here the next few days. We've got a lot of excitement, a lot of new participants this year, as well as some new technology providers.
And talking about participants, how many folks are involved in the program this year?
Yeah, so we've got 27 teams in the sprinkler corn competition, so that's 77 participants there. 16 teams under the subsurface drip corn competition with about 39 participants. And then the sorghum competition, 12 teams and 12 participants. Also, Oklahoma State has a competition where they have 13 participants. And the participants in our UNL contests are from across Nebraska, Kansas, and Colorado.
Now, when we're talking about these plots, how many are UNL managing to kind of create that baseline information that a lot of this data will be measured against?
Yeah, so UNL has a control plot which gets no water and no nitrogen throughout the season. We've also got what we're calling a science team, and we've got two corn competitions. And then the educators are having a team in a sorghum competition. So the science teams is we're looking at some of this technology, making decisions based on that science, and just seeing how it turns out in the end.
Now, as I said earlier, there's really a buffet of technology, and there's even some new technology pieces that are just brand new here for the 2020 growing season. Chuck, give us an overview of what participants have access to and helping them properly manage their fields.
Yeah, so the participants have access to 6 different soil moisture monitoring technologies. That would be Phytech, Centech, Crop Metrics, Aquaspy, Trellis, and Arable. So each contestant has the ability to select one of those to be in their plot. Also, we have 7 other companies from Air Scout, Farmers Edge, Terra Avion, Climate Field View, Ceres Imaging, Centera, and AdaptN, and they're providing aerial imagery, nitrogen tools, and different aspects for the participants.
Now, in terms of planting and stuff, corn is going in the ground. Looks like sorghum's going to be going in the ground here in the next week or so, right before the 1st of June. So how does emergence look on these plots right now?
Yeah, the corn came up. I looked at it last Thursday and Friday, and it was out of the ground. You could row it then. We just missed the cold snap. I think we planted about the right time. It was still in the ground before we got those freezing temperatures. So, yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape, got pretty good stands, and we're actually going to be using an aerial a drone to help us estimate population or stand counts in each of these plots here next week.
Now, with the Fridays in the Field program, we'll be going back and forth over the next couple of weeks, and we'll check in to see how the crop and how the participants and plots are doing then. So kind of give us an overview of what we can expect to maybe see the next time we talk, what's going to be happening over these next couple of weeks in the growing season.
Yeah, so number one priority is getting that sorghum planted. Hopefully that goes in next week. And then also starting next week and a couple of weeks following, we'll be starting to install the soil moisture sensors. So again, giving the producers an idea how much water's in the profile and if they need to get worried about irrigating or not. Then after that, we'll be doing some side dress nitrogen applications, and that'll lead right into fertigation.
As we start to round out our interview, we've learned a lot already about the TAPS program, and I'm excited to see just some of the different thoughts that participants have this year in their management decisions, as well what we could see in these markets and how they handle their marketing decisions as well. Now, when we look at the TAPS program, it started around 2017, so it's been going for a few years now, a few years of data collection. What's UNL doing with that data, and is there any trends or anything you guys can tell us about yet?
Yeah, so it's been kind of fun to look at the data after the fact and see, who had the best strategy and what worked out. It's been really interesting to me that our most efficient farm in most years and most contests has also been the top yield. And that really dispels that myth that you have to give up yield to be efficient. That's not true. And our TAPS participants have demonstrated that. Also, efficiency is highly, highly correlated with profitability. Yield is very important, but we can get those top yields efficiently. That really drives profitability up. The other thing that's been interesting to me is the optimal rate of nitrogen has varied a lot in the last 3 years. If you remember 2017, a very early, very warm, pretty much hot spring, we had about 100 pounds less nitrogen required to get those top yields in 2017 compared to 2018. And that really tells me that we need to be using some type of crop model or plant tissue samples or sensors that will measure reflectance so we can really fine tune our nitrogen applications during the season, because before you plant, it's really kind of a shot in the dark until we get into the growing season, how much nitrogen you're going to really need.
Chuck, as we start to end our conversation for our first check of Fridays in the Field with the 2020 UNL TAPS program, I've got to ask, final thoughts or closing comments for us?
Yeah, so we're planning a TAPS, what we're calling a 2019 debriefing and discussion. That'll be on June 23rd. Most likely that's going to be handled virtually. We'd love to have people in person, but probably virtually. We'll know more about that here in the next couple of weeks. So check out our website at taps.unl.edu for more information on that. Also sign up for our newsletter, our digital newsletter. And then also you mentioned earlier about taking some of the data we've collected. We're putting out tips from TAPS. So again, what have we learned the last several years? What can producers implement on their farms to help them be more efficient and more profitable?
Again, we've been speaking with Chuck Burr, UNL Extension Specialist based in North Platte, one of the head honchos with the UNL TAPS program for the 2020 growing season. This has been Fridays in the Field.